Good morning to one and all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
शुरू करो.
So good morning to one and all once again. We have gathered here for a very auspicious occasion, that is the online international conference on From Micro-Narratives to Meta-Narratives, Reimagining Criminal Jurisprudence in a Globalized World. By the theme, it suggests that today the world is a global village and concerns for the welfare of citizens are not limited within a particular territory. Therefore, although criminal jurisdiction is often confined to the national boundaries, at present, due to the emergence of a number of revolutionary changes in the societal life of the people, the jurisdiction has also become quite transnational. Considering these factors, Department of Law, Central University of Karnataka has made a wonderful thought to introduce an online international conference to have some insights from dedicated academicians, enlightened personalities, and also to provide the platform for young researchers who are the future of the nation to contribute towards the solutions against the problems emerging out of these revolutionary changes. As we all know that in India also, the criminal laws have been amended and a new set of criminal laws have been formed. So it has become an urgent necessary, considering all these factors, to have a rigorous discussion on this topic. Therefore, today we have been gathered here and we are very much enlightened and delighted to have a number of distinguished personalities who will share valuable insights out of their experiences. I, Dr. Jayanta Barua, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, Central University of Karnataka, and Program Coordinator, would like to invite all to this platform. Before moving ahead, to mark this occasion, an auspicious one, I would request Ms. Meenakshi Sharma, student, LLM second year, Department of Law, Central University of Karnataka, to grace this occasion with an invocation song. Over to you, Meenakshi.
Okay, sir. May I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, sir. या कुन्देन्तु तुषारहारिधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणामण्डा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषाजाड्यापः शुक्लां ब्रह्म विचार सार परमा माध्यां जगत् व्यापिने वीणा पुस्तक धारिणीं भयदां जाड्यधान्दारपहाम् हस्ते स्फटिकमालिकां विधत्तीं पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदाम्. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Now, I request our expected Dean School of Legal Studies, Dr. Basavaraj M. Kubakaddi, sir, to kindly extend a welcome address and to welcome the August gathering. Over to you, sir.
Respected Secretary General, National Human Rights Commission, Shri Bharat Lal ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Battu Satyanarayana Sir, and Honorable President, Karnataka State Bar Council, Shri S.S. Mittalkod Sir, and all the faculty members joined here, and all the participants. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this August gathering. So, as we thought from the Department of Law to initiate one of the online international conference, and Secretary on I also welcome our Honorable Chancellor Prof. This August gathering, having conference. So all the members also welcome. Welcome.
Sir, I think you are not audible. Sir, voice is breaking, sir.
Jayanji, I welcomed you. Proceed.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, sir has welcomed the August gathering. Now, moving ahead, I would like to introduce the chief guest of our session. And while going through his profile, I was astonished and highly inspired. Today, we have among us as the chief guest for the inaugural ceremony, Mr. Bharat Lal, sir. Sir is a former civil servant with over 3.5 decades of distinguished public service and is as the Secretary General and CEO of the National Human Rights Commission of India. His career has been defined by pioneering initiatives in good governance, human rights, public service delivery, environmental conservation, and sustainable development, making impactful contributions to improving the quality of lives and dignity, and ensuring protection of the marginalized and vulnerable communities, including women and tribal population. Sir, before assuming his role at the NSRC in July 2023, Sir served as the Director General of the National Center for Good Governance, which is an apex level institution of the Government of India, where he had several initiatives on public policy and good governance. Prior to that, as Secretary to the Lokpal of India, he contributed in strengthening anti-corruption frameworks in the country. His tenure as the founding mission director of the Jal Jeevan mission was transformative, ensuring access to clean tap water for over 194 million rural households, schools and daycare centers, empowering local communities, particularly women's roles in water and sanitation, and development of local public water utilities. Prior to Jal Jeevan Mission, he has also served as additional secretary to the then President of India. Sir's visionary approach in governance is exemplified by initiatives such as the Chiranjeevi Yojana, which addressed maternal health challenges by ensuring institutional delivery for women. Similarly, the Vanvandu Kalyan Yojana significantly improved the quality of life for tribal communities, while the establishment of over 1,200 Eklavya model residential schools provided educational opportunities for tribal children. In Gujarat, post-earthquake of 2001, he was instrumental in ensuring up of the Water and Sanitation Management Organization, WASMO, a globally recognized institution that empowered communities, especially women, to manage local water supply system. Its success earned accolades, including the United Nations Public Service Award and the Commonwealth Association for Public Administration and Management Award. Several developmental works, Sir has been deeply involved in policy making, investment, promotion, and diplomacy, drawing on his extensive experience working with the India's top leadership. As a key member of COVID-19 pandemic management team, he made meaningful contribution to saving lives and livelihood. Known for his out-of-the-box solution and forward thinking, Sir has advanced good governance, digital transformation, and public grievance redressal mechanisms. His dedication to safeguarding human rights and fostering equitable socio-economic developments positions him as a transformative leader committed to building a just and inclusive society. And sir, we are highly enlightened to have you here, a person with enormous practical experience, and definitely we hope for a insightful learning from you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Barua. Good morning to you all. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University of Karnataka, Professor Battu Satyanarayana, Guest of Honors, Shri S.S. Mittalkod, Dean, School of Legal Jurisprudence Studies, Dr. Basavaraj, dear students, friends, ladies and gentlemen who have joined online. Once again, I wish you a very good morning, and I'm sure that very unique topic. You have chosen a very, very unique topic to debate, to discuss, and listen to, interchange ideas. I think, to me, I hope that this dialogue, this conversation is going to set some kind of churning, some kind of thought process, some kind of change in our mindset. The most important is that from micro to meta narratives, from micro to meta, and reimagining criminal jurisprudence in a globalized world. As we all know that yes, we are living in a globalized world. Even one small action or inaction at a village level, at some mohalla level, within no time, it becomes not only national news but international news. It is not only debated at the, let's say, at village level or community level or let's say on the streets or colleges or universities, but this issue can get debated at the assembly, at the national parliament, and as international bodies. So I think one thing we all have to understand that day by day, because of advent of technology, especially information technology, I think rule of law is going to be strengthened. This we have to understand, that we are living in a world where rule of law, you might be getting a sense that, well, here and there laws are broken or people are not following, but the reality is that those aberrations and those kind of things get amplified. But reality is that because of this single factor, I think there is enormous, not only pressure, but I think some kind of a kind of overview, kind of looking at issues at a different level. Well, I think so far as the micro narratives are concerned, because I understand most of the students here are from law background, but let me just set that context, and especially in the backdrop of new criminal laws. As we know that micro narratives means what? Basically, these are the lived experiences of the stakeholder of criminal justice system: victims, accused people, law enforcement officers, and prison inmates. They reflect the granular truth of criminal justice system. What we talk here or talk in the court and talk at the conferences, seminar, that is one part of the story. But I think their experiences and what they undergo, I think that is very, very important actually, And few issues, let me flag straight away, Take overcrowding in prisons, lack of legal aid, procedural delays, inadequate infrastructure, understaffing, and lack of physical and mental health care in prisons. I think these are the few issues I think we would be discussing it during my next 10 to 15 minutes. But meta narratives, what is the broader framework? Basically, constitutional guarantees, principles of restorative justice, global human rights discourses, and comparative legal developments. They are ideal we aspire to. They are the ideals we aspire to, but which often remain distant from day-to-day realities of justice delivery. Well, there is a need to bridge this gap, and it calls for our time to bridge these two so that the ground realities from the foundation of legislature and policies, in turn our institutional responses, reflect both empathy and systematic rigor. Well, in a globalized world, I mentioned, that crime transcends borders. So we must ensure that empathy, our understanding, whether it is a cross-border trafficking, digital crimes, or transnational terrorism, our jurisprudence must evolve to meet new challenges with nuanced, evidence-based, and human framework. Let for a moment, if you see that what you have said, meta-narratives. Let's say, look at the provision of the Indian Constitution for a moment. Prison inmates in India are entitled to several constitutional safeguards that protect their fundamental rights, even while in custody. Article 14, equality before law. Article 19, freedom of speech and expression. Article 21, cornerstone of prisoner rights, guarantees right to life and personal liberty, which includes basically right to health, right to legal aid, human treatment, and speedy trial. Article 22 against arbitrary arrest and this thing, and there are a number of judgments of Supreme Court and various high courts basically, which have enforced these rights. Which emphasizing again, I would say that prisoners, despite their incarceration, must be treated with dignity and fairness with our constitutional values. Now let's capture few international conventions pertaining to criminal justice system. One of the most talked about is basically Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and which was in 1948. And as many of you must be knowing that two Indians, the Indian delegation led by Dr. Hansa Mehta and Lakshmi Menon, they played huge role in formulation of this Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Of course, it is not enforceable, but I think that is the ideal. And what they said actually, that the formulation that every man is born free and equal. These two ladies actually from India, it was Indian values, Indian ethos basically, which helped in reformulation of this, that every human being born equal and free. So from man to all human beings. I think this is our contribution. This is our cultural and civilizational ethos. I think we should be very proud of, and we should always, if somebody has said our ancestors have brought this thing, I think we have to practice it. We have to stand up to those ideals. The second important in today's context is basically International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. As you know that human rights is broadly can be divided in two parts, basically civic and political rights and socio-economic and cultural rights. So International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, basically 1966, it was ratified by India in 1979. And this treaty ensures rights such as equality before law, right to fair trial, prohibition of torture, and humane treatment of prisoners. I think this, India, please don't forget, 1949 Convention on Civil and Political Rights. 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 1949 Convention on Civil and Political if India on World Forum or our international stage commands certain respect, it is because of these soft power. We are a democracy. We believe in constitutional morality, free and fair election, human right, environmental, conservation. These are the basic thing, which basically India is seen, it might not be in terms of armed forces, in terms of, let's say economic, you might not be superpower. But these are the values which are cherished, and everybody look up to us with some kind of respect and, and try to emulate, So it is very important that these constitutional values and ethos, which have been evolved over the centuries, decades, I mean, somebody was pointing out that national emblem, it is just not simply, three lions sitting. See the value that it reflects 2,000 years of whatever Ashoka edict or take Buddhism or, So see this is one of those living civilization. Out of 4 greatest civilization on this earth, this is one of those living civilization basically which has evolved over the centuries, and those kind of knowledge, those kind of practices, those kind of values, those kind of ethics have been built. It is your and my duty. It is your and my duty to ensure that those values, those ethos are upheld. And these whether it's a covenant or any kind of UN resolution or any kind of international laws, you will find that invariably they are basically matching with our ethos and values, because in our society, human rights, human values are at the center. They form the core. I think this point we have to keep in mind, that it is not being enforced by somebody else. We have evolved it. Similarly, Convention Against Torture, 1948, as you know, India has signed, this convention, but of course is yet to be ratified. However, the principle against torture influenced judicial interpretation and prison reforms. And I think it's a very remarkable that recently in Supreme Court, in case of Punjab, actually some police officers have been convicted, and despite their old age and this thing, Supreme Court didn't condone or went soft on those, this thing, because of this kind of thing that we should be able. Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. Well, I think India is one of the shining example on world stage. Be proud of that in 1947, our forefathers, our constitution makers, when world had not given universal franchise, equal rights to women, this country, when it got freedom and making constitution, very first day that gave voting rights to each and every citizen, irrespective of caste, religion, socioeconomic status, literacy, gender, anything, I mean, that's a remarkable thing. In Switzerland, where this UN Human Rights Council is located, in Switzerland, women were given voting rights in 1972. I mean, please see. I mean, in a very difficult context, I would say that, well, India and many other Asian countries, see, women have been elected head of governments or heads of states, very routine. I think gender doesn't matter. When you are going to vote, gender doesn't matter. But you can see that in United States of America, despite 200 years, 250 years, they have not been able to elect a head of state and head of government as a woman as a president. So I think we should be very proud of that. These principles, these values, these thoughts have evolved over the years, and it's our duty, especially youngsters, that we keep on investing. Let's be very, very, very honest and very, very proud of this thing, that in last 75, 76 years, democracy, the way it has been upheld. Maybe there has been a short period of 20 odd months of emergency, but see, anywhere, this is the ethos that this country and the people of this country, end of the day, democracy or these constitutional values or democratic values are upheld by the people. Actually, it is your power, your strength, your commitment which is making the difference. Well, as you know, this convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, in 1979, it was ratified by the Government of India in 1993, and it supports gender-sensitive approaches in the justice system, especially in the treatment of female inmates and victims of gender-based violence. Well, global legal frameworks shaping criminal jurisprudence, which are relevant to India actually. I'll just cover 3-4 points. Human right-based jurisprudence. The international shift towards a right-based criminal justice system, anchored in instruments like ICCPR, UDHR, and Nelson Mandela rules, has emphasized due process, proportionality in punishment, and fair trial rights. India's recent reform this through a focus on victim-centric justice, timely investigation, and forensic reliance. This new criminal justice, criminal laws basically is rooted in these philosophies and this kind of value system. Restorative and rehabilitative justice model. Well, globally there is a movement away from retributive justice towards restorative justice. Here, many faculty members are there, bar council, chairperson is there, vice chancellor is there, and dean. You know better than me. But in restorative justice, take New Zealand or Canada, I think they are prime example. And rehabilitation-based correction is Scandinavian countries, Nordic countries, that is followed actually. Indian reforms increasingly emphasize community service and diversion of minor offenses from incarceration, drawing from such models. Well, non-custodial measures and decriminalization trends. The UN Tokyo rules and Bangkok rules promote non-custodial sentencing, especially for vulnerable population like women and juveniles. India's legal reforms reflect this trend with expanded bail provisions, procedural safeguards for first-time offenders, and attempt to decongest prisons. Digital justice and technological integration. In line with global best practices like Estonia and United Kingdom, India's reform emphasizes on electronic trials, video conferencing, and digital documentation, promoting access to justice, transparency, and judicial efficiency. Next is victim-centric approach. Modern international legal system like EU Victims' Rights Directive advocate for victim protection, participation, and compensation. India's new laws introduce victim-friendly mechanism, including faster investigation timelines and simplified procedures. In fact, National Human Rights Commission very regularly awards compensation to victim of whose human rights have been violated in many cases. This is one of the, in fact, many times officers will say, sir, we are not at fault. But even then you are awarding this thing. The fact is that the victim has suffered. The victim has suffered and he or she should be compensated. Well, gender and vulnerability sensitivity. India's reform also draw from CEDAW, UNHRC, and Bangkok rules, pushing for gender-sensitive policing, child-friendly courts, and protection for marginalized groups, aligning domestic laws with global standards. Well, if you look at these are the broad picture, but look at the micro narrative. There are few disturbing trends also, very disturbing actually. To me, from national human rights perspective, one most important is this overcrowding of jails actually. This remains one of the most pertinent challenges in criminal justice system, adversely affecting prisoners' access to food, accommodation, healthcare, quality of life, their dignity. I think overcrowding is one thing I think we all have to be very concerned about. This thing. One data point I would like to share that as per NCRB report 2022, there are 1,330 prisons, and there are 573,000 inmates there. And in fact, their overall occupancy, if you see, this is more than 120%. They are already occupied actually. And 176 prisons are basically holding 4 times of their capacity. 176 prison holding 4 times of their sanctioned capacity. I think this is one thing very disturbing part. Then increasing rate of under trial inmates. Many inmates receive acquittals or bail after extended period and often spend years in custody as they come from marginalized and economically disadvantaged backgrounds and lack the resources for legal defense or bail. I think India certainly should not be proud of this record that under trial prisoners for long, and I think collectively we have to think and we have to work on it. Well, 75% of prisoners are under trial. 75% of 573,000 prisoners, they are under trial. And as you know, all know better than me, I think more than 5 crore cases, 5 crore cases uh, are basically ongoing or pending, whatever word you use. But 5 crore cases, I think, is a mind-boggling for a country like ours. But 21% of under trial is spent over a year in prison. 21% under trial is spent more than a year in prison. And most, sorry, yeah, kindly please use the mic mute actually. Please understand that most of the time, these under trials who are not getting bail or who are not, this thing, most of them basically come from underprivileged or poor community. And anybody, and anybody is everybody actually. Anybody and everybody who believes in human rights, in dignity of human being, I think this is a matter of grave concern to all of us. That poorest of the poor people, underprivileged and marginalized section of society, not getting justice. I think it is a matter of great concern to all of us. Well, another issue is mental health of inmates in prison. In fact, on 16th of October this year, on Foundation Day of National Human Rights Commission is on 12th October actually. But 12th October being Sunday, we are going to celebrate Foundation Day on 16th of October. And I extend an open invite to all of you. On that day, we are planning to organize a national conference on human rights of prison inmates. This is a matter. The National Human Rights Commission have seized this issue, and we are going to work on this issue in a big way actually. But if you look at the mental health issues, basically, congested prison conditions, isolation from family, and limited communication often lead to mental health issues among inmates. On a different note, in India, 15% population, 15% population is having some kind of mental health issues. We are sitting on a ticking bomb, actually, ticking time bomb. But you'll be happy to note that National Human Rights Commission took up this matter after this act was, Mental Health Care Act 2017 was enacted. There is one provision in this act that in 10 years, India will have commensurate international standard human resources for dealing with mental health issues. So you'll be happy to note that we took up this issue with National Medical Commission that let's have a roadmap that we should have. Like today, you have one psychiatrist for 1 lakh population. One psychiatrist for 1 lakh population. So now there was a subcommittee, it was formed, it submitted its report, and now it is going to be implemented. That in next 5 years, we should increase to minimum 2 psychiatrists. The international standard is roughly 3 psychiatrists for 1 lakh population. Many European countries have that kind of thing. So at least in 5 years, 2 psychiatrists per lakh population, and a number of steps are being taken basically to have psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, and those kind of this thing. But if you see, in prison inmates, actually, there is a lack of mental health care expert or psychologists or psychiatrists to assist them. So in that kind of situation, basically, those professionals are not there. Their inmates' condition gets compounded. 80% prevalence of mental illness and substance abuse. In fact, one study was carried out in Bengaluru prison mental health study. This study indicates that 80% inmates are having mental health issues or are basically substance abuse. In 2022, in fact, as you know, that this is mandatory that any custodial death has to be reported within 24 hours. To National Human Rights Commission, and investigation, all those things get done actually. But in 2022, there is a confirmed basically 119 suicide in prisons. In fact, custodial death, say every year, last year, I think it took around 2,000 or something custodial death was there in the 2,200, in the country. But in each suicidal death or each death actually is investigated. But imagine in 2022, 119 people committed suicide in jail. I think that should be a worrisome trend. We have the concept of national, special reporters and special monitors. Our special reporters and special monitor, they visit prison, correctional home, juvenile homes. They regularly visit, If you see the gender and vulnerable groups, this is one data point I would like to share with you. As we know that female inmates, they face a different kind of challenge and different kind of problem, including inadequate healthcare, lack of gender-sensitive facilities, and prolonged under trial, detention. Actually, many are mothers caring for children in prisons with limited access to proper nutrition, education, and emotional support, underscoring the need for urgent gender-responsive prison reforms. And 2022 report of NRCC indicate that there have been more than 23,700 female inmates in our prison, which are basically roughly 4% of the total prison prisoners in the country. And 1,537 women prisoners, they have 1,764 children. I mean, they are mother actually, and they are going. Now we have to see that how many of them are getting a congenital atmosphere where their children rights are protected. Children get, adequate education, healthcare, and this thing. Well, in nutshell, I would say that, well, criminal laws cannot merely be reactive. It must be reimagined proactively with inclusion and equity at its core. Primary focus, prioritizing reformative and rehabilitative approaches over purely retributive models, ensuring procedural safeguards are not just rights on paper, but rights in practice, integrating mental health and gender sensitivity in prison and in other detention centers, embracing restorative justice model where appropriate, especially for juvenile and first-time offenders, and above all, constantly questioning who is the law serving and who is excluding. Well, role of NHRC, as you know that we work with civil society organization, with government, NGOs, legal services authorities, prison official, and we have a number of systems, whether it's a special reporter, ISL monitor, and our team visiting, basically going to different places and diagnosing. The idea is that our job is to diagnose the cracks in the system and in co-creating sustainable right-based solutions. In National Human Rights Commission, we have a core group on criminal justice system reforms, and when we are going to have meeting and discussion, if any of you are interested in joining that, kindly write to us. We will invite you to have and as well as in the next conference on rights of prison inmates. Active visits by special reporters, whistle monitor across prison in the country, and in fact we have issued one advisory actually. As you might be knowing, the National Human Rights Commission, basically after 2-3 judgments, recommendation of National Human Rights Commission has become mandatory. So any advisory is issued or any recommendation issued, if government is unable to implement, it has to go to one floor of Parliament and explain. On both the tables of the houses, report is laid and with explanation that why this recommendation has not been implemented. And as you know, no government would like to do that. So what we have done that proactively, instead of dealing case by case where violation has taken place, we have gone and issued advisory. So one of the advisories is basically to mitigate self-harm and suicide attempts by prisoners. This issue we have seized the matter and we have issued this thing. Then on custodial death and investigation, we have issued many advisories. We have taken a lot of suo motu cognizance of female inmates under trials and other violations of prisoner rights. In fact, National Human Rights Commission in the last 2-3 years very proactively taking suo motu cases. Like in 2022, roughly there were only 16 cases, but 2023 we took 116, last year 106. So every year we are suo motu cognizance, we are increasing and we are going. Well, we are sponsoring a lot of research proposal, and I invite Central University of Karnataka basically to consider and please submit a proposal on some study related to this thing. Well, we have also issued direction to state governments and UTs to re-emphasize need for periodical medical testing of medical examination of inmates. Well, friends, while concluding here, I would say that, well, we need a reimagined criminal jurisprudence must be firmly anchored in human rights-centric approach, ensuring that the dignity and rights of every individual accused or victim are upheld at every stage of justice process. This vision calls for a decisive shift from retributive models of punishment to rehabilitative frameworks that focus on reform, integration, and reducing recidivism. At the global level, cross-border legal cooperation must be strengthened to address transnational crimes, but without compromising our national sovereignty or civil liberties. Achieving this vision also demands comprehensive institutional reform across the policing system, judiciary, and correctional services to enhance transparency, accountability, and efficiency. Let us no longer be satisfied with a jurisprudence that merely reacts to injustices. Let us strive for one that anticipates it, prevents it, and ultimately transforms it. The future of criminal jurisprudence lies not only in statutes and judgment, but in the stories we choose to hear, the voices we uplift, and the system we build. From the voices in the margins to the pillar of our democracy, may we reimagine a jurisprudence that is both locally responsible and globally aware. So once again, I thank you, organizers, Central University of Karnataka, and Dean School of Legal Jurisprudence Studies, Dr. Basavaraj, for inviting me. And thank you all for your patient hearing. And I'm sure that this deliberation, this conference this outcome will be very helpful to National Human Rights Commission, and we'll love to use this whatever its outcome in our work. So have a wonderful day. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir has very brilliantly discussed about the meta-narratives from global level and vertically coming down deep to the local level. Sir has also raised serious concerns about the prisoners, then mental health. And I believe that those who are attending here, mostly the students fraternity, they will also get they have already gained certain insights to carry out their dissertations. I'd also like to inform sir that one of our students from the law department has already taken a dissertation topic on the issue that what about the children of the women prisoners, whether they are also motivated towards crime and how they'll be upbringing. So with these words, I would like to thank sir, and we as from the academic fraternity, we also on this very day take a promise that with guidance, under the guidance of visionary person like sir, and with his support, we'll definitely would try our best to contribute towards the protection of human rights as well as towards the restoration of justice for the victims. Thank you, sir. Now, moving ahead, I would like to present the book of abstracts. Actually, we have received 39, we have received more than 50 papers or even 60, but we have selected 39 papers, and the papers are actually from different parts of the country, covering from Jammu and Kashmir, Arunachal Pradesh, Gujarat, till the south of India, and even central India. So on this occasion, I would request our guest of honor, Shri S.S. Mittalkod sir, President, State Bar Council of Karnataka, to release the book. Actually, sir has been a practicing advocate and he has practiced before different courts, including high courts. He has contributed significantly towards the development of the legal fraternity and for the persons who access to justice. We are very much indebted to him that today, being a working day, he has showed his interest to the conference and has been a distinguished guest. He has attended this conference, and therefore I would kindly request sir to once I show the book, sir, please announce the release of the book, sir.
Very good morning, sir. All people is good morning. This function chairperson Bharat Lal ji and Battu Satyanarayana ji and Basavaraj Kubakaddi ji, Jayant Baru ji, and I am very happy to be part of this online international conference. I thank to Department of the Law, Central University of Karnataka for organizing this conference. I released the book of the abstract of international conference, audio conference.
Thank you, sir. As I have mentioned, the abstract book consists of 39 abstracts of different papers, the research contributions made by the Academy of Fraternity, out of which many are students and young professionals. And this abstract book also consists of different research areas, including technology, especially artificial intelligence, which is becoming a major threat to the rights of the citizens, as well as, if it is utilized properly, is a very good tool for enhancing the scope of justice. And it has also touched upon certain core areas like environmental crimes and all other like women's rights, then women and crime, then cross-border terrorism, feminist victimology. All these aspects have been dealt upon this abstract book. I also declared that after the end of this international conference today, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Sorry for the technical.
Okay, it happens. Okay, proceed.
Yes, so that was all about the book of abstracts. So now the guest of honor has declared it to be released. Moving ahead, I would like to thank the guest of honor for taking the effort in releasing the book of abstracts. Now I would like to request the president of this inaugural ceremony, the chair, Professor Dr. Battu Satyanarayana, sir, who is the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Central University of Karnataka, to kindly extend his remarks. Sir, over to you.
Good morning to everyone. Today, Chief Guest Shri Bharat Lal ji, the Secretary General, National Human Rights Commission of India, New Delhi. Guest of Honor, Shri S.S. Mittalkod ji, President, Karnataka State Bar Council, Bengaluru. Our the Dean School of Legal Jurisprudence Studies, Professor Basavaraj Kubakaddi. The coordinator of the program, Dr. Jayant Barwa, and the other assistant professors, Dr. Renika and Dr. Anant. I'm congratulating the Department of Law for organizing an online international conference on micro-narratives to meta-narratives, reimagining criminal jurisprudence in a globalized world. So, this criminal jurisprudence is very important for everyone because in the society to maintain the order, we require tight laws. Unless we have this legal system very advocate and sufficient and do legal justice, then definitely it will control the lot of criminals in the society. We are every day, if you open the newspaper, we see a lot of criminal cases which are reported here and there, including rape cases, murders, theft cases, like this, many cases, and even a negligence of this driving, that also leading to a lot of deaths in the country. I have seen earlier when I attended one speech delivered by the late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji when he was that is in the 80s only. That is, we are reaching the moon, but we are not preventing the road accidents. Then just if you look at the deaths caused by the road accidents, there due to the negligence of driving or several other reasons. So like this, this is how much human loss is taking place. You are driving, who are traveling, particularly the vehicles. They are very active in the life. And how much loss it will be incurred to the family and then to the nation. So this is also one kind. Like this, we are witnessing several crimes in the society. So we can say why this criminal laws are required means unless some external force monitors, then we cannot keep the society in order. So to keep this, we require law and order, and again the justice, the jurisprudence is required. This legal system is required, and particularly if you say the total energy of the universe remain constant, but if you see the entropy of the universe tends towards the maximum. So that means entropy is a measure of disorderness. That is a natural process. That is, the disorderness increases without any interference. But to make order, now external force is required. For example, if you take water always flows high level to the low level, or the air that diffuses from high pressure to the low pressure. Like this, the disorderness also, if you see the tropic, if you see the tropic at the four corners, where in the absence of some external force like traffic police, everyone want to go immediately. As a result, what will happen? It leads to the traffic jam. In the presence of the traffic police external force, everyone will follow the rules. Nowadays, okay, we are arranging these green lights, red lights, and they follow it. And even that also, in the absence of the traffic police, no one will follow. Again, now when we are arranging the CC cameras, when we get some in the name of fines, the fine reminds them to follow the rule and regulation. That is also one kind of external rules. These are all required. So therefore, for this, we require strong judiciary. And then here also, as our Bharat Lal has said, how these people are, many people are not getting the proper justice. And also, this is another thing he has mentioned about this mental health. That is also another issue, big issue. That is, he is talking about human rights because he is heading as a Secretary General of the National Human Rights Commission. He always is receiving a lot of complaints and a lot of issues relating to the violation of the human rights. For that also, if we also in the universities also we are witnessing mental health. That's why now the Supreme Court itself has taken that is what that appointed one high-level committee to monitor this mental health in the everywhere. Particularly, they are also suggested to the universities to follow immediately, take all the measures to prevent the mental health. For which also, from our university also, we appointed counselors. For any issue comes, they can send to the counselors, psychological counselors. They can counsel them, and then that will give a lot of relief. Otherwise, that is also leading to the even suicides in the campuses. So, like this, a lot of human violations which are taking place. If we neglect, you see what will happen. So, like this, they are witnessing, and the strong now India also, now we have all this our CRPC, everything which are laid down by the Britishers. We are following so far the same thing. Now this amendments were carried out, and now this Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita is introduced by bringing a lot of changes for the existing that is which were prevailed before this amendments. So that is justice should be delivered in time. And nowadays the awareness in the legal profession and the judiciary is increasing, and confidence in the judiciary is also increasing. So judiciary, if the confidence increases in the judiciary, definitely that will lead to a good society, and that will make a society into order. And nowadays people are, it is a lot of awareness is coming, and that's why if any problem comes, people also now that is approaching the human rights commissions. Earlier, no one has bothered about that. A lot of violations have taken place. A lot of people have suffered. Now, even now this, even if it is appeared in the paper, Sumoto, that is HRC's They are taking that into immediately they are acting. That is all these leading to the controlling the crimes in the society. So that is one side human rights commissions, one side judiciary, one side law and order. All these are working together. That's why nowadays, even if you look at the legal profession or legal studies, there is a lot of demand nowadays. Even engineering students are offering to going to the law profession because the awareness is increasing, and we need more and more lawyers, and also we need very, very high quality lawyers, because then only this we can expect instant justice. And legal profession in any country, particularly if the judiciary, teachers and doctors compromise, the society cannot progress. These are three important pillars of the society. So that is, they should work without any fear. Then only the society will progress and we can achieve whatever goal is targeted. Particularly, our India is also that is dreaming to becoming a Vikasit Bharat by 2047. For that, we cannot expect the Vikasit Bharat without proper justice to all the people, and everyone feel free in the society. They should work freely, and then that will happen only for all the judiciary becomes very active, and instant justice is done without violating. Even if our Bharat Lal is also told that some people, those who are in the jail also dying. So that is when still final justice has come, we should also take care of even them also. So immediately sending to jail is sometimes we cannot say that is totally is a crime. So that is even the persons should also feel, if a person after death, if any justice is done also, that is also not going to do anything. So therefore, these are required. We need to reform, and we need a good judiciary, and we need this human rights should not be violated, and everyone should live very dignified, with dignity. Then only we can say that this is a very good society, very developed society. Then there is a meaning for our Vikasit Bharat, and all of you should go together, and particularly those who are in the legal profession should take a very proactive role. Then only this society progresses. With this, I am once again congratulating the Central State of Karnataka, the Department of Law, our Central State of Karnataka, particularly Dean and the coordinator and faculty for their initiation and organizing this conference in time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a nice pleasure. And the sir has rightly pointed one thing, that it is not only the responsibility of lawkeepers, lawmakers, or lawyers to control the crime rates. It is also the common people who are, if they are not agreed, if they are not civilized, then definitely crime rates will not go down. And that for that reason, this kind of conferences and legal awareness programs are very necessary. We are very much thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, for giving his time and for blessing us with his wonderful wisdom. Now, although unfortunately we'll have to move towards the last agenda of the inaugural ceremony, I would request my senior colleague, Dr. Anandi Sinsure, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Law, to kindly extend the formal vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jayant Baruwa, sir. I'm very glad and honored to extend my vote of thanks on this particular occasion, that is online international conference from micro-narrative to meta-narrative, reimagining criminal jurisprudence in globalized world. I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to today's chief guest, Shri Bharat Lal ji, Secretary General, National Human Rights Commission of India, New Delhi, for taking a time from his busy schedule and giving a very highly insightful talk on different aspects and domains of human rights and criminal law. In fact, sir, you have explored a lot of ideas amongst us as a teacher and the students to pursue and think on pursuing different research areas. So thank you for your presence, sir, and we will be very glad to associate in days to come, Department of Law and Human Rights Commission. Thank you, sir, for your presence. Similarly, I extend my heartfelt thank to Sri S.S. Mittalkod, President Karnataka State Bar Council, Bangalore, for releasing the abstract of the papers which are going to be presented in today's international conference. Sir, thank you, sir, for your presence. Similarly, I thank Honorable Vice Chancellor of Central University of Karnataka, Professor Battu Satyanarayana, sir, who is always a motivating factor for all of us to continue in the academic pursuits. So I thank you for your motivational address, sir, and your presidential remark. Thank you, sir. Similarly, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Dean, Dr. Basavaraj Kubakaddi, Coordinator Jayant Barua, and my fellow colleague, Dr. Renuka Madam, and all research scholars, students, participants, delegates, the paper presenters, the professors who are chairing the sessions, resource person, for their timely presence in this conference. And this next day, we'll have a academic discussion and a very fruitful discussion. Thank you, all of you, and I request all of you to take active part in this online international conference. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Over to Jayant, sir.
Thank you, sir. And with this, I declare that the inaugural ceremony is concluded. Thank you for joining us. We'll very soon start with the plenary session 1 from 11 a.m. onwards.
Jayan sir, I think Madam had